Hello everybody, welcome back to the lounge, and today we'll be talking about the game in the title, Risk of Rain 2.
But it died.
Risk of Rain 2 is a difficult survival bullet hell multiplayer action roguelike looter shooter. That was a mouthful. What does it mean? Well, first of all, it's difficult, and while that is more subjective, most people will find the normal mode quite the challenge. The survival part is self-explanatory, and so is bullet hell. Now, the multiplayer is where this game shines. There are currently a total of 11 characters with completely different playstyles for each and every character. I'll go on to explain all of these characters later in the video. The action, roguelike, and shooter can be put together here. The action means there's a lot of stuff going on. Roguelike means that the game is not forgiving. For example, if your tower isn't to run and you die, well, too bad, you just lost 2 hours of progress. And the shooter part means there are guns and you pull some triggers. The looter part means that there's lots of stuff to find around the maps you go to, such as chests, larger chests, different variants of chests, combat shrines, which are basically just spawners for enemies, mountain, and Shrine of the Mountain, which increases the difficulty of the teleporter event, which will also be explained later. There are secret levels which can happen from random chance, giving away money to a golden statue, interacting with already secret items with another secret, realm. So, yeah, lots of secrets. But let's get into the second part of the video, the maps. The maps are a key factor of why I have 81 hours in the game within 2 weeks. Wait, what? No, let me look at this. What year is it? It's 2021? Oh, okay, well, time to keep going. There are 5 stages in the game, excluding the final stage, which we'll get to in a moment. There are 2 different environments for the first stage, which in this stage, you fall down from the sky in a pod, except for Acrid, which you are kind of just already on the ground, and then Multi, which you fall down in a cargo crate. The first environment is the Distant Roost, which has a thick blue haze or mist, I guess. Across the level is tall pine-like trees with pretty odd and crazy terrain. Personally, I like the stage more than the other one for the first stage. The second environment is the Titanic Plains, which is a lighter mist compared to the Distant Roost, but it is still there. The terrain in this environment is much more normal, you could say, but there are giant metal-like things that stick out of the ground and are pretty overgrown. Now onto the second stage. The environment here is the Abandoned Aqueduct, which is a desert-like level with an aqueduct spanning the top of the main area of the level that has a tar substance coming from off the side of it, which in the game is described as a foul black liquid. There are many skeletal remains on this map. My guess is the skeletons are from things that used to live in a lake or river that used to be there, and it's gone now due to a drought. And this is my favorite of the 2 environments on this stage. The next environment is the Wetland Aspect, a swamp-like area with giant trees that have no leaves and sometimes no branches. There are metal walls, metal plates, and other objects around this map. There aren't too many describing features on this environment as the Abandoned Aqueduct. We move on to the third stage. The first environment is the Rally Point Delta, an area that had people living here that you could probably tell due to the broken fences, empty cargo crates, and radar equipment around the map, especially the part where you spawn in and it says Rally Point Delta, and then subtitle, Survivor Camp. I'm taking this from the wiki. It says, it does appear that we were able to hold out for some period of time given the survivor's ability to construct a signature radio tower in the cliffs above the camp in the presence of the damaged yet repairable TC-280 prototype, a formidable and heavily armed drone. By the time the survivors of the UBS safe travels happen upon it, Rally Point Delta is long abandoned and mostly buried within the snow. I'm not putting this within the lore section due to it being mostly visible by just playing the environment. The next environment for the third stage is the Scorched Acres, the first map that was added through updates to the game. This map is pretty hard to describe, but I'll try anyways. The majority of the map is made up from circular objects floating in the sky, held up by poles. This map has trees similar to the Distant Roost, but have red leaves and more of a background object in this map. The circular objects also have some purple light, no, dark blue purples. What am I saying? This environment is my favorite one for this stage, but it is a very close tie. Let's go to the fourth stage. Our first environment on this stage is the Abyssal Depths, which from the wiki is located within the crust of the planet. This map has all light blocked off except for the little area at the top of the map. There are chains coming from the ground and the sides of the map that are either meant to keep down or keep up the islands in the middle of the map. The chest that guarantees legendary items spawn in the middle of the map. The next environment we have is called Siren's Call. This map was added in the Skills 2.0 update. This environment is home to the secret boss called the Alloy Warship Unit. The Alloy meaning Alloy Vulture. This map is pretty similar to the Titanic Plains in the mist and all of the broken metal pieces that are scattered within the map in the blue theme. Final environment for this stage is the Sundered Grove, an environment which what I think to be has the largest tree in the game and many, many giant mushrooms. This map is similar to the Distant Roost with a much larger amount of mist and the blue theme going across the entire environment. You can find giant logs, giant mushrooms, and a giant tree here. This is my favorite environment for this stage. Now on to the fifth stage. There's currently only one environment for the stage, that being the Sky Meadow. This is read from the wiki. Sky Meadow is the fifth stage environment added in the Artifacts update and the first returning stage from Risk of Rain 1. It is located within the upper atmosphere of Petrichor V. The environment is made up of floating islands in or above the clouds, being the gateway to the bulwarks, amberate, looping in the final stage. This is my favorite environment for the fifth stage. You get it, you know. Now on to the final stage. Commencement is the only environment for the stage, being where the final boss is located. This is read from the wiki. Commencement is the final stage environment added in the 1.0 update and revised in the anniversary update. It is located on the moon of Petrichor V. I will explain more about the planet later in this video. This stage is made up of basically white and gray colors, probably due to the fact that it seems pretty similar to Earth's moon. In this map, you'll have to charge up 4 pillars which have variants, then go to the top of the giant twisted concrete moon thing. Then you go on to the final boss, or you can completely skip the pillars if you have enough mobility. Well, that was something, huh? If you couldn't tell by reading the chapters, there are some things like enemies that I left out for you to find out yourself. Same goes to some of the secret areas found throughout the game. And this segment's going to be quite short, but let's talk about the planet real quick. The planet's name is Petrichor V, but I don't want to pronounce it like Petrichor. So I'm going to pronounce it like Petrichor, like I have been doing. This is a ref from the wiki. Petrichor V is the primary setting of Risk of Rain and its sequel, Risk of Rain 2. A mysterious, uncharted world, this planet was first set upon by humanity when the UES contact light was asked to go towards the planet by an unknown individual. The violent sabotage and crash of the contact light, as well as the subsequent struggle of its surviving crew, serves as the premise of Risk of Rain 1. After the events of Risk of Rain 1 come to pass, a rescue mission is called in to determine what became of the contact light. The endeavors of the crew of the UES Safe Travels, your ship, to explore the planet and search for answers serves as the premise of Risk of Rain 2. This is something I found pretty interesting. Petrichor is the name of an earthy smell produced by rain after a dry period. Alright, let's talk about the teleporter and looping. The teleporter is a key part of Risk of Rain 2 as it's how you get from stage to stage. They all usually have the same design, except for one which I'll get to in a minute. Activating the teleporter will spawn the boss for that stage, and a red ring will appear around the teleporter. More of a sphere, but you know. As soon as you activate the teleporter, it starts charging up. If you leave the aforementioned red sphere around the teleporter, it will stop charging until you re-enter it. If during the level you happen to activate Shrine of the Mountain, the teleporter event will be significantly more difficult, spawning elite enemies and sometimes elite bosses. Now, let's get on to looping. Looping is something that can be done at the 5th stage of the game, Sky Meadow. The reason for this is because of the teleporter, the 5th stage is different than the others. This is read from the wiki. The teleporter at the 5th stage is called the Primordial Teleporter, which can be used to access commencement and the final boss. Rings on the outside of the teleporter can be interacted with prior to starting the teleport event to either align with the moon, accessing commencement, or to align with the planet, which loops the player back to one of the first stages. So basically, looping sends you back to the first stage. You're still given a random environment, and you have to go back through all the stages again. You can keep your items before the loop, and you can also loop an unlimited number of times. So, that was nice, but let's get to the secret stages. I'll be talking about most of the secret stages here, but I'm leaving out a few in the hopes that you can experience some of these yourself. And if you don't want to see any, you can skip to the next chapter in the video. This is read from the wiki. Also known as intermission stages, mysterious places where time seems to stop. Environment logs are found within each hidden realm. Upon being picked up, they unlock the logbook entry for each corresponding environment. They appear as a small shiny book on the ground, and a set location will always spawn. If you're playing in a group, only one member of the party needs to pick up the log for everyone to get the logbook entry. A moment fraction. This environment features floating islands and black space with no end in sight, with the islands having blue crystal-like things coming out of the top of the islands. At the last island, you find a fractured obelisk with the interactable saying, "Obliterate yourself from existence." Bazaar Between Time. The Bazaar Between Time is accessed by finding a newt statue and donating 1 lunar coin to it, causing it to spawn once the teleport is fully charged. You can also have a chance for it to spawn randomly, as every time it spawns, the chance for it to spawn again is lowered. The environment is the shop for the game with some pretty interesting items. You can also find something quite interesting if you find just the right combination of lunar items. Bulwark's Embry. This environment is accessed by going through the compound generator in Sky Meadow. The area is made up of square-shaped platforms with a large sphere in the center of it. This is also how you get artifacts. Gilded Coast. This environment is reached when you enter a gold portal spawned by the Altar of Gold, similar to the Chance Altar / Altar of Chance. In this environment, you find a secret boss where you get a very good item from it. That's all I'll say about the secret environment so that you can find them out for yourself. Now on to the characters. For this chapter, I'll be talking about the characters in alphabetical order. I'll have a slightly different, lower tone of voice when I'm talking about stuff in the wiki. A macabre, poison-spitting ex-prisoner, Ackard fights with potent array of damage overtime effects and self-sustaining melee ability, as well as a mix of long-range and crowd control options for any situation. It also sports the highest base damage stat of any survivor. Ackard uses poison or blight status effects, which I think will make it useful for elite enemies and pair well with high damage classes. Artificer. Wielding a diverse armament of destructive skills, Artificer's strength lies in her devastating offense that can break through even the bulkiest of enemies, aided by her versatile snap phrase. However, her power comes at the cost of survivability, as she has no defensive or movement skills aside from her high-flying island surge, so the player must take care to use her mighty skills from a safe distance. I haven't used the character much, but she has a loadout for fighting large groups characters and eliminating them very quickly. Bandit. Swift and sneaky fighter, the bandit focuses on keeping on the move to catch enemies off guard and deal ruinous damage before finishing the job with lights out. Between his daggers, smoke bombs, and gun attacks, the bandit emphasizes mobility and versatility, but also requires some skill to bring out his true potential. Bandit is my most played character in the game currently. With it having a high skill ceiling, it's a great choice for people who are extremely good at roguelikes and action games alike. Captain. Commander of the UAS Safe Travels, the captain's strength is his ability to call down a variety of tactical drops from orbit. From a humble healing beacon to the spectacularly haphazard OGM-72 Diablo strength. The captain is a very much utility-based character, having beacons that heal, stun, refill, and hack. This character shines in games with 3 or more people, but can also be used out of it. Commando. Unlocked by default, he is intended as a well-rounded and easily understood character with no particular weakness or strength, combining mobility and offense in his tactics. However, that doesn't mean he can't be one of the strongest characters for benefiting from the effects of item stacking, giving the speed and high proc coefficient of many of his skills. No, don't be scared about the proc where it says it's basically just activating stuff. But I can also sum it up as, he's good all around, nice with new players, and can be extremely powerful due to his base abilities. Engineer. With an assortment of deployable gadgets, the engineer's strength comes not from him alone, but rather his ability to set up a variety of defensive measures. The engineer's signature ability is his deployable turrets, which gain the same items that the engineer himself has. This makes him unique, as item selection doesn't necessarily come down to what benefits himself, but also what benefits his turrets. Now this character is very interesting, being able to set up 2 turrets that do really good damage, but the character does take some skill and quick thinking to play, so be warned. Huntress. With powerful homing attacks and very high mobility, but very low health and somewhat limited area of effect on many of her skills, Huntress can be considered a glass cannon character. She's unlocked by default and is an alternative to Commando. As the description says, low health, high damage, and mobility. So unless you have previous experience with games similar to the roguelike section, I don't recommend anyone starting out to playing this character. Loader. An incredibly mobile and heavy cargo loader, the loader is capable of delivering some of the hardest hitting attacks in the game. When utilizing velocity to her advantage, she is able to topple many powerful monsters in just a single punch. This is one of the most mobile characters in the game with her grapple hook and her shift attack. Pretty friendly to new players, but may be difficult for some to unlock. Mercenary. Highly mobile and maneuverable fighter, the mercenary strikes swiftly and rapidly to devastate enemies, gaining both invincibility and mobility with his various attacks, due to his skill's low cooldowns, which are further reduced by his signature exposed debuff. His playstyle focuses on rapidly chaining together attacks to stay on the offensive whenever possible, taking full advantage of the invulnerability afforded by his skills. The mercenary is a character that needs a large amount of skill to master, weaving in and out of combat very quickly, being able to dish out high damage to almost any type of enemy. Multi. A modified multi-purpose robot, Multi lives up to its designation through its sheer versatility. Highly durable in terms of high health and armor, it possesses the unique ability to select 2 of 4 primary weapons and utilize them in 2 different configurations, either swapping between 2 weapons via retool or utilizing 2 primary weapons at once in the armored power mode. Multi has many weapons available at their disposal, making it so they can be useful wherever you put them in their squad. They also have the highest base health of any survivor. Rex. Their tanks are powerful and strike from a great distance, but in exchange, some require Rex's health as a resource. To counteract this, their skills also focus on status effects to weaken opponents to help Rex deal more damage and take less, and others drain health from enemies to recoup HP cost. As a result, Rex's health may change rapidly during combat, but they'll always be relatively safe with enough skill. As mentioned, you do need a bit of skill to avoid death due to except one of his attacks required some of his health, although you can configure this with his unlockable abilities. So fighting enemies while also removing health from yourself can be a bit of a challenge, but they also have lifesteal, making the cost of health not as great. So that was all of the characters. Don't listen to him. There's something else. It's called hate. Sorry for the disturbance. Let's get on to the last part of the video. Lore. This is read from the wiki. The setting of Risk of Rain is mostly glimpsed upon through logs for items, monsters, environments, and more. These entries are collected within the game's logbook, which may provide context and clues behind the many mysteries and events that happen within the game itself and the history surrounding the planet of Petrichor V. So, I'm not gonna go through the lore as of now, but maybe we'll get its own video, as there's 191 lore entries in the game as of now, and there is more lore outside of the entries, so yeah. Well, here's the conclusion. Well, Risk of Rain 2 is a fantastic piece of work, and I praise everyone who worked on this game. As I'm learning more about Unity, I realize how much work must have been put into this magnificent game. The game is basically endless, and with stuff being randomized each run, there isn't much to run out of. All of the characters have something special to them, so if you multiply 11 times endless, you get 11 times more endless. There's definitely lore, lots of lore, a lot, that can be uncovered, and I'm surprised MatPat hasn't made a video on this game yet. The art is amazing, and like I said earlier, I've played 81 hours on this game, and that's not even counting all the gameplay footage I gotta get after writing the script. That I already got the footage because I'll get to that in a minute. Channel update. So if this video didn't make it obvious, this isn't a gameplay video. There's gameplay in the back, but it's more of a video essay. So if this does well, this might be what all of this channel is from now on, with maybe occasional gameplay. And I've spent 3 hours writing the script for this channel. Video, not channel, what? I haven't really scripted any videos before, so this was something. Also, okay, this is a bit of a tangent real quick, but I am so stupid. I already recorded this, and I accidentally deleted the voice file because I didn't put in its own folder, or I didn't even name it, so I accidentally deleted it, and then I emptied my recycle bin, and then I opened Adobe Premiere to keep editing, and then it was like, yeah, this isn't gonna happen, and I was like, no, this can't be possible, and I posted it on Twitter. It's gonna be like 3 more days, so I'm super sorry. It's probably gonna be like 3.5 weeks after the last video. This really wasn't the plan, but yeah. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, as it will help me out immensely and give me the motivation to keep doing videos like this, as I do actually enjoy doing them. So, yeah. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.